Like S-A,
Yeah.
C-H-I,
Yeah.
T-A-N-O.
Standing in front of me is David Andrew Sciacchitano.
Correct.
He's from the 20th Tactical Air Support Squadrons. He was based here from 67, 68 and Lavang Airfield. Now see the trace of the like the airfield is paved airfield. It was the Lavang Airfield served as the forward operating base camps of the 20th Tactical Air Support Squadrons. David said back then there was a 4 or 501, aircraft, right here. It was used by the Marines for a while, right? The third.
No, not really. The Marines, they never did. They would come in and out once in a while when it was necessary. They'd use it, but normally they only operated out of Marine bases. They didn't like operating out of other people's airfields. They wanted to be Marines, so most of their equipment was right up along in this area. It was along the DMZ.
You remember how long did you stay over here at this airfield?
13 months.
13 months over here in
13
67 or 68?
But from May 67, May 11th or so, to around the May 10th or 11th to June 6th, 1968.
Yeah. So back then you moved back and forth between Quang Tri Mark V
Yeah.
compound
Right.
to Lavang. What house is about like 3 kilometers, 2.5,
Yeah,
three
mile and a half,
kilometers away
mile and a half, something.
by jeep, right?
By Jeep.
Along Route 55,
55, Route 55.
Is that every day?
Every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we had storms and rain, we might sit at the compound, but normally we're out every day. 12, 14 hours every day.
So during the Tet Offensive,
Right.
was this base camp attacked by the NVA forces?
It was. This area was attacked.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't understand, they didn't damage the airplanes.
Really?
But they did assault they didn't assault the regiment. They fired on the first regiment to keep the Arvin down, but the Arvin battalions were already gone. They were out. So
Where's the barrack, base camp to the first
well,
regiment?
you have the road starting from 55 here.
Right.
So it's kind of a long entrance. You begin to you have the road here. You have the airfield went all the way almost all the way to 55, just a few feet short of it, with a fence, barbed wire fence on that end. And then between the road and this area here, it was all mines.
Yeah.
As a minefield, barbed wire, and things like this. So the airstrip was dirt strip like this, just dirt, pounded in place. And so the airfield would have come along here, about like here, at about the same angle as the road. And it ran all the way down here for maybe another 1,500, 1,800 feet.
Yes.
So the compound, the first regiment compound, try to see how far we are from 55, would have started somewhere in here actually. It was a kind of a triangle.
Where the storage?
Yeah,
Those
where
the
the
things
storage
behind the
is.
yellow wall?
No, there was no wall there. It was a
No, I mean, but this is like the regiment, the first regiment, like a barrack was there.
no. It would have been further this way. There was a kind of a pointed defense area to this because the roads here are at a funny angle.
Yeah.
So the regimental compound was shaped a little funny, but it came out. It was a minefield along this area in front of it, on that side of the road, barbed wire, and then the regiment, the regimental buildings would have started probably. Let's see the road. Right about in here, there was a big gate, maybe a little further down, a big gate, somewhere in here.
But this road was almost the same size or bigger? Or
What, the road?
This one?
Same.
The same?
Yeah.
Dead road like this?
Yeah, it was just, well, it was harder, it was firmer, but it was that's what it was. It was laterite, just clay beat up.
Yeah.
So it came down this way, and then there was a big gate here. So right on the other side of the gate would have been that minefield. The barracks would have started, the buildings started here. Right up actually in here was artillery.
Yeah.
105s, 155s in here.
How many batteries?
The regiment had quite a few, but they weren't all here. So They must have had at least one or two batteries of 105s. I'm not sure where they actually kept their 155s. They did have 155, and I don't remember the number of their artillery unit. But anyway, so the 1st Regiment then had barracks in here, and also a headquarters building on somewhere on this side of it, like this, over there, and it extended. It's in a rectangle. It's not in a square.
Yeah.
There's a long rectangle along the road, say from here and then going down, and the airfield is parallel to it, more or less.
Parallel
to this road. Yeah, parallel to the road and the railroad.
Yeah.
So it runs down from 55 all the way down this way, past some buildings that the road ended.
It's a short. It was a short runway, isn't it?
Well, it
Just
was relatively short, but
Yeah.
you could
Like
land fairly large.
like a 500-600 yards. Just
Yeah, maybe a little more than that. Maybe more than that. But you had say 21. Yeah, about 600 yards, 650 yards, and you could. I believe that's right. And you could land besides O1s. We had C-45s coming in. It's a small. From the Second World War, very small Beechcraft. Beechcraft. They landed. C-7s landed. Could land okay. C-47s could land all right. Bigger aircraft than that. We did bring in a C-123 once in a while. When we had a plane shot up, we had to take the plane apart and put it on the...
C-123.
123 is also a gunship type.
Yeah, I know.
But it's a cargo plane.
Yeah.
It's
more than...
it looks like an
C-130.
old version of a C-130.
Right.
There's
Caribou.
but it only has 2 engines instead of 4. So it's 2 engines. It has this, this base here and then the wing over. So they could come in, but normally we didn't have anything like that. The C-45 was Air America, was a CIA plane. It would come in regularly. It was kind of a passenger plane. And other than that and bird dogs, we almost never had anything else. That was.
You said you have 4 or 5 bird dogs over here.
We had 4 to 5 at any time. Yeah, and we had 5 pilots.
So how big is the tactical area your responsibility from here, all the way up to Laos or to Hue?
All the way to the Lao border, all the way up to the DMZ, and all the way down to Tietien province. So you have it's all of Quang Tri province.
Yeah, the whole Quang Tri province.
The whole province internally.
Yeah.
And as I said before, we had some units, small units at Quezon and at Dong Ha, but those units flew out of country.
Yeah.
They didn't fly in the province. So we were the air support, tactical air support control for the entire province of Quang Tri for the Vietnamese regiment, 1st Regiment, and the 2nd Regiment. The 2nd Regiment was up on toward the DMZ at that point. And then also for anybody else who needed support. Regional forces, local forces, Marines, Army, anybody who called for support.
So in average, how many sortie missions you made, like per month? You remember?
Oh,
like the pig
month,
in later 67, early 68.
We'd fly. It really depended. I mean, it was no less than 3 per day, maybe, and we say between
3 per day.
5. Yeah,
so how long is your mission?
Well, it depended. They'd run from. See, how long could a bird dog fly? It depended on how much gas they're using, really. But they could fly for several hours without, and then come back. But sometimes they would come back, refuel, go, come back, refuel, and go, come back, refuel, and go. Same
3
pilot.
missions a day.
Same pilot. So they'd fly all day. They basically might fly if there's action. They might fly from 6 o'clock in the morning when the sun came up. Yeah. All the way till the sun went down.
Yeah, really. So you came back to refuel?
They would just come back to refuel, and we'd get a sandwich. We'd make some food for them, and we'd deliver the sandwich and get to the pilot. They would jump on the plane again and eat the sandwich when they were flying. Sometimes they pee in their pants when they're flying. They did sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good story.
They'd pee in the tube. They had a little tube to pee in on the plane. It's very primitive. So they just came back, refueled, and went. Refueled, we'd check the oil. We'd make sure the plane was safe. The tires were good. We'd check everything to see no bullet holes. Because they didn't always know if they were shot up. They couldn't always tell. So we'd look the whole plane over to make sure there's no damage from shrapnel, from anti-aircraft fire, from bullets or whatever.
Did your unit lose any aircraft bird dogs?
The what?
Did your unit lose any?
Well, we lost them in various ways. Before I got there in '66, they were all wiped out by an NVA attack in April '66. We got all new planes back. Yeah. When I was arriving there, they had the new ones came in, about 5, and then we lost all of them again in a rocket attack. Those were repaired and came back. Those were not. They were damaged, severely damaged, so they couldn't fly. But then we sent them down to Da Nang, and they repaired them and sent them back up again. So then we also had some. We had 2 destroyed in crashes. One in a minefield, and one stupidity. The commander crashed into he was doing dives into the compound, and his landing gear hit a big army antenna, and broke the antenna and broke his landing gear. And he didn't know it. When he came back to the airfield, his only one wheel was working. The other one was just dangling like this underneath. And we were shouting and yelling at him and pointing, and he was laughing out the window and stuff. And finally, we got in touch with. We were having trouble getting in touch with the radio bunker, but we got in touch with the bunker in Quang Tri City, our radio bunker, and then they called him, because we couldn't call him directly. They called him and said, "You got a broken landing gear." So he landed the plane with this thing, but then he just spun around like this, and he wrecked the wing, and it was a totally wrecked airplane. The other one was a bad landing by a B-52 pilot who'd switched over to O2s. He could fly B-52s in his sleep, but he could never get the hang of flying a little airplane. So he was only there a little while. His name was Clark, also like Bruce Clark, but a different spelling. And nice fellow, but he he landed hard. He had a Vietnamese observer. He landed quite hard, bounced up. He thought he was airborne again. He put the throttle forward, but he didn't have the speed to do that. So his plane just lost control, ran up through a minefield, chopped up all the wire, with the blade chopped it up, bounced across this road right here. Actually, he crashed right about down here someplace, right down there. He bounced across the road, chopped up through another minefield, and landed like this on his nose in the middle of a minefield. So we had to run in and get him out of the minefield because they were face down. The airplane was straight up in the air like this, so we had to run in, unbuckle them, get them out to the minefield so they didn't blow their legs off, and then we had to go back in and get the Vietnamese observer and take him out and do the stuff. And then stupidly, for some stupid reason, we decided we had to get our radios out because we were afraid that somebody might come in and steal them in the night. So we walked back into the minefield and we took out the radios. It was just stupid. We were lucky we didn't step on anything.
And how about the?
Well, there were ardent soldiers everywhere yelling at us. It's minefield, get out of the minefield, don't go in the minefield. But, once we'd gone in once, we figured we could just keep going back in. That's just the stupidity of youth.
And how about the personnel casualties?
Well, we lost our boss. We had some once in a while wounded. The squadron lost a lot of people, but up there we didn't have the losses. We had, trying to remember. One of the pilots I took care of in Da Nang was lost. I lost him. That was a problem for me. It was difficult because, anyway. So then we lost the major, but that was right after I left. He was shot down just a few days after I left on June 6th. Maybe he was shot down about June 10th or 11th, flying quite low, up by the DMZ, and he was hit by an aircraft fire and just went down.
Really?
Yeah. The same thing happened to the other fellow. He was flying with special forces out to the west of Quang Tri, and he was hit and then went down.
What is his name?
We had 2 pilots.
Sorry, what is the name again?
Well, let me think. I should remember him. Major Ball, Robert Ball, was our commander who was shot down. And then the other was, Carl, remind me, you know his name.
In Da Nang?
No, that was at Da Nang. The
one in the Sipos.
Pilot, Bill Sipos. Bill Sipos, his name was. Really super nice guy. He was a West Pointer who joined the Air Force. Terrific pilot. Wonderful guy. He was really one of the best officers I ever served with. Terrific person. And of course, that's the guy that gets shot down, right? So, anyway, now from Quang Tri, from Da Nang, from the flyers from there, we lost more. We had 2 planes shot down over the DMZ, one by a SAM. If you can imagine a SAM missile hitting an O2.
Your SAM just shot like a bird dog.
It was, it just blew him out of the air. And then we had a second pilot, was an O2, flying an O2. I forgot what him, but he was hit also by something really heavy and went down right over the DMZ. So, and then we had pilots lost in other areas. So the squadron took quite a few losses. We had more planes shot up. Major Ball, for instance, was always flying very low. and he was like a magnet for North Vietnamese bullets. He would always come back. He was always landing his airplane full of holes, and we'd say to him, Major Ball, do you know you got hit by these balls? He said, no, I didn't know. He'd get out of the plane and he'd look at the bullet holes. He didn't bother. He never bothered.
Those AK-47 are assault
He
rifle?
never got hit. When I was there, he never got hit by anything but 30 caliber. They were always
Really?
30 caliber. Yeah, 30 caliber. And but I'll tell you something. You'd think they're from the bottom. If he's flying over, it should be from the bottom.
Yeah.
But he got hit often from the side,
Yeah.
which means he's flying very
low.
right? Because he was a very brave guy, and he wanted to see everything. He wanted to know exactly what's going down. So he would come in really fast, come down, and then just zoom in like this to see everything. But the enemy would fire at him like crazy and stuff, and he'd come back with these holes in the plane. Then we'd patch him up, make sure there's nothing, hid inside. And when I was there, nothing ever was. He was lucky.
Yeah.
But then, he wasn't so lucky a couple of days later.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. David. Now,